Good afternoon, Heat Nation. Good to Lysol here, folks, for cats, and everything in between and beyond. My name is Roy, the host of Mahapanies, the only host in the history of the internet who fully and wholeheartedly admits he has no idea what he's talking about, but he tries. I had a video that I recorded basically a couple of days, or I think the day after that huge rant that was my last video, and I asked Raphael to Rafpatpod to actually help with the editing of the video because I didn't just want to post it the way that it was. But unfortunately, Raphael's Patpat laptop has been, problematic, and so he has been unable, unfortunately, to edit that video. And so I wanted to record because otherwise it kind of seems like this is, the way that I actually think was exposed after that horrible, humiliating loss to the Cavaliers. So I want to talk about basically the very interesting shape of the playoffs at this point, how I feel about the Golden State Warriors, especially right now without Steph Curry. Jimmy Butler is going to have to carry the team on his back, and how I really feel about the front office, about Spo, and about the players in Miami Heat. So let's start with the last, actually, because that's exactly what I wanted to do. I wanted to kind of go against a little bit what we had said before. What I had said actually that last time, because I think it's unfair to judge anyone's opinions after such humiliation. I really like the fact that lots of podcasters do the show right after it, and they're able to be a lot more balanced than I am. And we're going to see Pat Riley's interview tomorrow. So in the exit interviews, there are also a couple of things to note, but not as much. It's not as important to me. I think that, number one, do I believe that every player is on the table? Yes, I do. I have not changed my mind on that. I do think that everyone is on the table for the right athlete, for the right superstar, but we also have to understand that we technically have a good number 3 and number 4 options in Hero and Bam. Those are not number 2, number 3 options. Maybe Hero can step to be that second string option alongside a good star, and I don't think that star would be KD. I don't think KD moves the needle that much for us, not at this stage of his career. I don't see fire in him to try to win anything else. Maybe there is. I don't see that. He would definitely be a leader, and he'll definitely be a number 1 option as much as he's a veteran. He's still playing at a high level, but I don't think that that's the right person, and I don't think that we are in the sweepstakes because of our assets. We're not in the sweepstakes for someone like Giannis, who everybody's monitoring closely because it seems like he's going to be out. And we have people that have expiring contracts that become free agents, such as Duncan Robinson. Tyler Hero said that he doesn't mind if the extension doesn't come right now, but he said that the price is going to be higher next year. Again, he's writing a check that he cannot possibly know if he's going to be able to cash. But I've seen this happen too many times in the NBA. It seems like in the NBA more than in any other sport that I've watched in my life, honestly. But I don't think that any of these players, of course, we all love the fact that we have so many drafted players now, and that we theoretically, could build on that if the right person came along, the right person or people came along to actually complement this group. Definitely more defensive-oriented people alongside Hero, alongside Mitchell, because I do want Davion Mitchell to be re-signed. He's one of the exceptions, although, again, for the right price. It doesn't matter who, whether it's Jovic, Hakis, even Ware, although if I had to keep 2, I would keep Jovic and Ware, right? And Larson. If I had to keep 3, I would keep Jovic, Ware, and Larson. If I have to keep 2, Ware, and Larson. If I have to keep 1, Ware. But everybody else is tradable. I don't think that Bam Adebayo is going to be more than that. He's never going to be consistent 25-10 kind of player. I agree with everybody that has that assessment. And I also think that as much as Hero is a great player, he's obviously not been able to lead the team in either of the playoffs. The last year against the Celtics and this year against the Cavaliers, he wasn't able to lead us anywhere. He actually had very bad numbers, and I don't think Wiggins is coming back, but who knows? He's still, I think, is a very good asset to be traded, and we do have 3 picks to trade, but it's not as much draft capital as cities like Oklahoma, which they might not be asking for anything at the moment, but other teams might have the advantage, right, to get Giannis, which would be an amazing inclusion to our team, and maybe kind of make Bam dispensable. And if I had to get rid of either one or the other, it would be Bam. And I'm sorry, because I'm a huge Bam fan, but we also have to understand that, okay, this build didn't work. It's very unfair also to judge the season because of what happened with Jimmy Butler, and that's why, as it comes to the Golden State Warriors, even though they're 1-0 against the Timberwolves, I want them to be eliminated. I don't want Butler winning another championship, and I certainly don't want Butler getting to the WCF, because otherwise, it'd say, yeah, I achieved at least almost as much as I achieved with Miami. No, I don't want that. I don't want that pleasure for him. That's petty of me, I know, but that's just the way it is. Very pleasantly surprised about the New York Knicks, and very unpleasantly surprised about the Pacers for different reasons. Pleasantly surprised about New York Knicks because they're going against Boston. And F Boston is just basically what I say when I say good morning. The first thing that I say in the morning is good morning, son. F Boston. And then I go and kiss my son. Yes, after saying F Boston, because that's a blessing to be kissed by a mouth that just said such an obvious statement. So absolutely, I am New York Knicks versus the Celtics. I am pretty much every team, all the teams really, versus the Celtics 4 times a day, 5 on Sunday. The Cavaliers, however, against the Pacers, it just makes us look so inferior to what the level of the playoffs were. And that goes for the Magic as well, right? So basically every single play-in team, with the exception of the Warriors, has not shown that the play-in is deserved. The play-in makes sense, right? Why make the play-in if we're going to be humiliated like we were? So certainly no team under 40 wins. That should be a rule. No team under 40 wins should make the playoffs. And I know this is against us making the playoffs also this season, but at the same time, what we saw was just embarrassing. So there is no reason for that. But yes, going to the playoffs and losing is still an experience. It's still a playoff experience for a lot of those players, whether they remain with the Heat or not. So that's interesting enough. But it makes us look so weak when the Pacers get a 2-0 after Cleveland had been leading the entire game. Again, right? Both number 1 and 2 in the East were able to blow out leads. Oklahoma City also lost. That was a record, right? 0-4 home teams lost in the second round for Game 1. Game 2, Oklahoma City broke that cycle, and I really hope that Timberwolves break that cycle tonight. So this is where I am. As far as Spo, no, I don't think Spo needs to be fired. I would accept his being fired, but I think that there's too much of a tradition there, and I think as long as Pat Riley perhaps is a CEO, that's not going to happen, right? Could Spo move like Pop did right now? Well deserved for him to be president of in this case of the Spurs. Maybe in the future. Should Pat Riley retire? I don't know. We're gonna see tomorrow. I think that there is also a chance that Pat Riley can give us, one last hurrah before he goes. I don't honestly know. But I know that no one is going to force Pat Riley to retire. Ushida said so in the last comment. I agree with him. And no one is going to fire Spo. Spo is definitely one of the best coaches in the league. He's one of the winningest coaches in the history of the NBA. So, it's not fair to act out of rage. But this was a disastrous season for Spo. It was a disastrous season for Spo. Spo himself does not bear the responsibility for how those players don't function, but he does bear the responsibility of not making those players work better. Although again, right, with Wiggins being rarely available in the regular season compared to the games, I think he played 50% of the games since he was traded, and being a complete no-show in the playoffs, that also takes a little bit of the burden off of Spo. So yeah, more calm. That's not how I think. That's how I think after being blown out like we were by the Cavaliers, but that's not how I think. So anyway, stay safe, stay dry, stay as happy as possible. It's a very complicated world of ours, and let's go Heat.